Hello everyone, and welcome back to AM66. I'm Happy Vader, and today I thought I would take an opportunity to go over Territory Battle. Just as a general overview, how Territory Battle works is when it begins, you start in Phase 1. For Light Side, it's going to show up on this side of the map. For Dark Side, it'll show up on this side of the map. No differences, really, about how that start is. Main differences are there are a number of these missions, and there's special missions, and there are combat missions. Special missions help you get these rewards, and that is all they do. When you use a team that it says to use, so here we have Phoenix only. So if I complete this with the Phoenix squad, I will earn points for my zone from the squad I used. But the only benefit outside of that is to earn the reward. You'll notice up here we have 45 million points. That is the total points. When you start in the first star, it's going to have fewer points than that. So let me show you here. So we have 11 million in order to get 1 star in this zone. Here you'll see that we reached 36 million on this territory, and we would need to get roughly 41 million more in order to get a 3rd star. It's a lot for our guild, considering that's almost half our GP right there. So the best way to earn points is by doing these combat missions. And the combat missions can vary. Most of them are just going to say, if you're playing light side Hoth battle, most of them are just going to say light side. You can use any light side team you have. Some of them are going to say something different. So I believe in here we have, this is a special mission. So we get Rebel Officer Leo Organa, or Rilo, as the shorthand goes. Here we go. So here, we can earn points. It's not a special mission, it's a combat mission. So by clearing this battle, we will earn points, but we have to use Rebels, and it has to include Hoth Rebel Scout. So before you go in and just start attacking with whatever, pay attention to what this says and what these requirements are. What else is there? Platoons. Yes. We're going to come back to the combat mission and the point scoring. Platoons are another major thing. So in platoons, there's going to be bonuses or inhibition, something that works against your guild. In either case, the more of these you can clear, so you can see here it says 6 out of 6. If you clear 2 out of 6, we achieve level 1. Let me show you what that looks like. So if we have 2 out of 6 here, it's badly hindered, and the enemy has an ability that is called AT-AT Assault. It's an AoE, it's a powerful AoE. If you can get 2 out of 6, you unlock level 1, which makes the AoE do 35% less damage. If you get the 4 out of 6, that will unlock level 2. That makes the cooldown speed, it takes 2 times longer for the ability to be available. And then the 3rd level, deal physical damage to target enemy. This attack deals 50% more damage to enemies with full health. This ability is weakened as the platoons attack the AT-AT and disabled when the AT-AT is defeated. Okay, so when it's disabled, it's defeated. So if we get level 3, then they don't get that ability. At least if that's what I understand. My guild puts a different priority. You can see here we use Discord to coordinate, and that is very important. So I will pay attention to that. We actually use a tool in my guild that allows us to coordinate more effectively using the roster of the guild, rather than having somebody sit there and just painstakingly look through every single member's platoon eligible squad. With all of that covered, perhaps it'll help if I show you how I approach territory battle. Since we are just starting here, it would be a good opportunity for me to show off just the oddity and effectiveness of the tool that we have. This is what platoons look like. We have 6 platoons, and each one requires 15 different units. You will not be allowed to place more than 10 units total in the entire platoon. So you have to be very efficient with how these things are deployed. Sometimes it's even impossible to fill a platoon, and this tool has been useful in letting us know that. So in the top zone, the fleet, we're going to want to go to Squadron 3 and deploy Wedge's X-Wing. When you have a situation where you have 2 similar looking icons and you don't really know which one's which, you can hold down and it'll bring up that profile. So this confirms to me that this is Wedge. If you do, if you select multiple ones and then you're like, wait, did I pick the right one? Go in, go back, it's gonna unselect them again. So here I will put my Wedge X-Wing. It's a level 1, gear 1. It has no use to me beyond just platoons. Then for number 5, we are actually going to need Anakin Starfighter. This one is a great ship for my fleet. I'm willing to part with it because I know I can most likely clear the combat mission for fleets without that Starfighter. So I like to go through all of the platoons and make sure I get these assigned as they are requested of me by my guild. So here I need to have Qui-Gon Jinn and the clone bro Jedi Master. Yeah, those 2 go in. Platoon number 3, we want Coruscant Underworld Police. And as a guild leader, I felt it made sense for me to just have all these characters unlocked when I can. I benefit from the extra shards, but it's mostly a benefit to the guild for territory battles that we have these units available. So like here, Cody is gear 1, level 1. Great clone. I really should gear up Cody, but I have other plans. In this case, it's just useful for platoon. Now I am terrible at knowing which Jawas are which. I need to put Chief Nebbit, Jawa, and Jawa Engineer. So that's Dacha. So I can reasonably assume that these are the 3 I need to place. That goes there. Number 5. We have Tebow and Jawa Scavenger. Wow, that one's not available, so I'm pretty sure that's it. Tebow, I am certain is this. No, that was way off. Come on, Tebow. Yeah, somebody already took the assignment that I had, which is fine because if I were to do too much more, you'll see all of these are blocked out. That means I have reached the max. I have already assigned 10 members in this platoon. Now this is problematic if another member has taken your assignment. For Hoth, it's not as big of a deal, but it is problematic when we start getting into Chio TV, and so I'm calling you out, Bishop. How dare you? This shouldn't be too much of a problem, though, so long as we can get the other platoons done. And that is it for platoon in the mid. Now, in that situation, you saw I could still assign 2 units. Let me make sure I actually did assign the unit I was supposed to. What was it? Yeah, so I got... Okay, perfect. That means I have an extra 2 units I can assign here. What I like to do is I like to wait until there's 12 or fewer hours remaining in this phase. And then I go in and I clean up whatever platoons I can. And I do that with fleets as well after I've done all the combat missions. After everything else is done, I will go back in and make sure I can fill what I can. Because after 12 hours, I think that's reasonable to assume that my guild members had a chance to fill what they can. And there's always, there's no telling what circumstances arise. Maybe they need the unit that's being requested, and that is fair. And if other members have bonus units, no harm, no foul. So on the bottom, we're going to put Resistance Pilot. And number 2, we have Luminar, Jedi Consular, Bastillation, and Old Ben. All units I don't need. Although Bastillation would be great for territory battles. I just don't have a Jedi team up and running yet. Platoon 3, we're looking at Jedi Knight Guardian. There you are. And 4, we have Poe Dameron, Bodhi Rook, K2SO, and Biston. So here, again, I'm not going to be able to assign any more units in this entire platoon. I've reached my max of 10. That was a really good use of doing what I can for that zone. Hoth Rebel Scout, Phoenix, CLS, light side. This is just plain light side. Great. And then what do we have here? We have just a basically light side ship. Since it's phase 5, I am trying out a rule of thumb where for every phase we're in, I bring an extra ship just in case. So in this case, phase 5, I now have 5 ships. This should be enough with my fleet, and that is a standard based on gear 12. If everyone in the ship with gear 12, bring them in, maybe gear 11 would work. Let's try this out, see if this works. We have been killing it in fleets lately, so I feel I have an opportunity to try something here. I could have brought Ahsoka in for some great damage, but Ahsoka may be needed for a different zone. Let's start with Vader, because that's currently the biggest threat. As time goes on, it's just going to be Boba Fett's ship. And yeah, let's do AoE. That's not going to do anything. And then when it's Mace's turn, we'll finish off Vader. Mace Windu's ship is not that great of a ship for offense, at least for me. I don't do Mace Windu on offense. You saw in other videos I prefer my Tarkin Geos. I'm going to get protection on both of these ships. Just getting prepped for an eventual swarm. Now something else to consider, I brought in a Rebel Y-Wing. And I do that because that Y-Wing is not needed in any of the platoons. I could have saved this clone ship for a platoon, but instead I wanted to save Ahsoka. My reasoning for that is I don't see a lot of my members willing to part with an Ahsoka ship, since she is such a great ship. And it's more likely they're going to be using Ahsoka in their own attempt at clearing the combat mission. So by saving my own Ahsoka, I'm essentially hoping that I ensure that we can get a platoon filled that needs an Ahsoka ship that was otherwise planning on some other member doing it. I have a feeling Tarkin will have an ultimate here ready, so I want to get that ready to go here. I don't think a clone sergeant was necessary, but I'm happy I brought him in anyway, because that could have killed any number of my ships. Bring in Rebel Y-Wing. There we go. So, you saw here, I just cleared a combat mission, and it gave me 536,000 points. I think I used maybe about 300,000 or 280,000 power worth of ships. That was... let's see. Yeah, here we go. So, it'll say here in this log, I sent in my fleet of 285,855. There's a lot of 8s and 5s in there. That's my power of the fleet I used. So it counted that towards the point that we needed for up here. By completing the combat mission, fully completing it gives me over 500,000 points, and that goes a long way. And that's how this guild of 90 million can actually complete a great deal of the territory battles. It's because many of us are completing the missions. Now, at the end of the day, you can only do them once. You can succeed or fail once. You don't get a choice. So if you fail a mission, you don't get the points. You still get credit for deploying that fleet that you attempted. And normally, one would just go, okay, well, I'm done. I'm just going to deploy all my fleets. Here you go. Select all. Boom. I will, I can bring in 800,000 more power and just dump it purely towards the score. I'm not going to do that because, again, like I mentioned earlier, 12 hours remaining. We might need some of these platoons filled. So moving on down here. Hoth Rebel Scout. I have just the team for this. Mon Mothma. This has been such a great team to invest in for PvE and for PvP. Many of my opponents have tripped over a Mon Mothma team. I am confident. So here we have this ability. And that's from clearing platoons from earlier. So actions taken earlier on in territory battle do have consequences for later on. So if you complete or don't finish a platoon completely, you'll see that has kind of a domino effect as things go on. We went a bit too fast for me to show you earlier, but this fight won't take too long. We'll have this finished here in a sec. We scored 90,000 points for finishing round 1. If we can finish round 2, which we just did, our points went up to 128,000. And it's going to continue building until we finish all 6 rounds. The reason why this is so important is you may look at something and think, there's no way my low gear team can do anything about this. I counter that by saying, if you have your platoons taken care of, and you're left with a possibility, even if it's just 2 people, or even 1 person in the team that may not get very far, just clearing round 1 gave an extra 90,000 points. So an 8,000 power Rebel Scout, for example, can use that AoE ability, maybe wipe out all of round 1 and then die instantly into round 2. You just gave the guild an extra 90,000 points. And we have been so close to a 3rd star in some of these zones. It was just a matter of a few thousand points. So don't discount the value you bring to your guild with however minor your contribution may seem. It all adds up. This is a guild effort. Nobody gets any better reward for performing more than any other member. Everyone gets equal rewards in territory battle, and the rewards are fantastic. So if you work together, every little bit is huge. Whatever you can do, that's all we can ask. As an officer, it makes me so happy when a member just tries. So I have what I consider to be a mid-range GP. I've been playing with this account for 2 years, and taking on a role as a guild leader has sort of turned my priorities a little bit from the path that I had started out on, which was just to get gas. So along the way I had farmed potential squad members and everything just to build a roster a little more well-rounded. And I did want to be super focused on my GP, my galactic power, by not just promoting everyone to 7-star, leaving them at gear 1. So, yeah, we're already at 356,000. However, I have found that we've been able to get platoons cleared and make things easier for members that have a harder time of the territory battle by coordinating the efforts, unlocking the characters, making them available to max out as many platoon assignments as you can. So, I believe that territory battle, while territory wars are a lot of fun and hyper competitive, Territory battles really are a pure expression of collaboration, of coordination, of the community that your guild works to build. $470,000 points. And I'll have the squad power here in a second. I think it's 77,000. Yeah. I want to show you Phoenix. What I want to show you about this is I don't believe my Phoenix squad will reach the end. And my first instinct was, alright, I'll just not use them then. However, we use this AoE. Look how easy that was. For the longest time, I think I had like Gear 4 Sabine and Gear 4 Ezra. And everyone else was Gear 1. Gear 1, level 1. There was nothing to these characters. They were going to die by the first AoE the Snowtrooper does. However, I just unloaded with an AoE and got 90,000 points. And then here, it's just going to get trickier. I think I can get through 3, maybe 4, before this team chokes in the end. Right now, I think Sabine does the most damage. Can we counterattack? Oh, no. Okay, I guess we'll just do the one counterattack. Thanks, Cannon. Let's build up some protection on Sabine. Yeah, those AoEs are pretty lethal. Take off the crit damage, Snowtrooper. Take out that Snowtrooper and drop some fire. I think I want to try and get Armor Shred. Let's take out another Snowtrooper. Probe Droid's probably going to go and self-destruct. Let's do another Armor Shred. For those that don't know, Armor Shred gives minus 50% defense per stack. That is useful. Alright, now I'm going to start saving some of my abilities going into round 3. Already 128,000 points. Almost have the AoE done. Ready to go. There we go. That's done. Yeah, and that's what it is. It's just buying time until that ability is available. If I had a higher geared Phoenix squad, this would be a no-brainer. Absolutely. I could probably clear this. For this account, I did a Phoenix squad in my old account. I got really tired of that. So I put very minimal investment in this Phoenix squad just to get Thrawn unlocked. Just gotta play it safe, play it smart, and if we're lucky, we'll have another AoE built up going into round 5. This is really just covering basics. Trying to maximize platoon deployments and maximize the points for your guild. Those are the two most important things you can do in territory battle. I mean, secondary to listening to what orders are posted by your guild. So units inside territory battle may have a unique buff. So here, remove 20% of turn meter from debuffed enemies when they are damaged by any attack. It's like a miniature leadership ability. Can be quite potent. Some of them have counterattack. You could be careful about that if you don't have a lot of survivability in your squad. What is it? 70% counter chance? So these are just 70% counter chance. That's kind of what I was counting on. No pun intended. Yeah. All the AoEs. Alright. we failed to complete the zone, but we got 356,000 points out of that. That is a win, despite being a fail. So, did we clear all of the rounds successfully? No. We didn't expect that going in anyways. Did my game just freeze up?
Technical problems. Amateurs.
And we're back. So, go back here, you'll see our points did contribute. We sent in 60,000 power squad, practically nothing. And they came out with almost 7 times, 6 times, almost 6 times their power value. So again, it's not about winning. It helps if you win. It's all about helping the guild. Something to also consider is your guild has a way of leaving orders in game, and it's these messages here. So do this mission if you meet the requirements. That's quite straightforward. Second priority. So I think, yeah, so first priority, focus on combat missions. That's a great order of things. So combat missions, platoons, special missions. Again, it says optional. Finally, deploy. So in the order of things you want to do, you want to make sure you do all the combat missions that you can. Then work on all of the platoons that you can before you finish any optional missions. So how this works is for every member that completes this mission, every other member gains 20 of these. So if we look here, 3 members have already completed a special mission, meaning that if this was to end right now, every one of us would get 60 of the Mark 1 Guild Event token. So if you're trying to get Gash to 7 stars, Malik to 7 stars, or even work on Hermit Yoda, Wampa, those are the tokens you would need for this event. I so happen to have a CLS team. I don't think I have a complete one I can use, but it should be effective enough to try and complete this mission. We'll try that later. But I want you to remember that. In order of priority, do the things that give you the most points first, which is going to be the combat mission for the roster. Then do platoons. Anything extra is nice. And then deploy at the very end. I tend to hold off on deploying until, again, 12 hours remaining, because then I have an idea of where we are at. If I were to deploy in the previous phase, here, we might have something like 37 million points towards 78 million. Doesn't really mean anything. However, you can see here, I actually deployed in this zone instead. I waited, there was actually 4 hours left. I deployed here. Look how close we were to a 2nd star. So that's the value of coordination, of just communicating within the guild, trying to maximize these stars. Now, you may say, Happy Vader, why do I care? No, you probably wouldn't be saying that, because you're probably smart enough to know that there's a tab for rewards. The more stars you get, the better the rewards. And look at this, we have Mark II Guild Event tokens. Don't really change too much until you get higher. You need Mark II Guild Event tokens in order to unlock Negotiator or Malevolence if you're working for high-end fleets. As it stands, we have 20 stars. I think we should end with about 25 stars. So everyone in the guild, everyone gets these rewards equally. Everyone will get 4,200 Guild Event tokens, Mark 1, 500 Mark 2, 100 crystals, and then one of the prize boxes, which can be one or more of any of these gear. So you need Mark 5 stun guns. Hey, you have a shot of getting Mark 5 stun guns. Oh look, here's some Gear 12 stuff. Some great gear. You work your way up towards, say, the blue box, and you're gonna have more of what we saw earlier, but it's gonna be more things that you can use to help you get towards Relic. So more of these yellow gear at the top here, useful for getting characters to Gear 13. So we are almost done with our territory battle run. We can put some more powerful units in. My gas team should be able to handle their respective fight. But before I go too much farther, I will take a look here and quickly glance over what all appears to be needed. So my Padme squad utilizes Ahsoka and Anakin, and that's pretty common for TV deployments, so saving them for that makes sense. My CLS squad had a Han, so I could save my Han for that deployment. Again, another Padme squad member with Kenobi. Full Ewok squad, my Ewoks should be able to clear this event without too much difficulty. And while there are some clones that I could use in there, I think what I'm going to do instead is divert some of those clones for the purpose of this. It's not a wholly effective. I think I just sent in my 5s. Oh well, if that's the case, so be it. I really just need gas and one other clone. So let's clear this. You'll notice this particular special mission has 3 rounds. Some of them have 2. Yeah, I do have a 5s in here. That's okay. That'll might actually be better to keep the team alive for longer. Form up. You have a counter chance, okay. So 1 stack is gonna prevent them from getting buffed. If I get 2 stacks, they cannot counter. So we'll work on that. And going into the final round. Okay, we got 1 stack of confusion. Can we stun Vader? I think this is the old Vader, so he doesn't have Merciless Massacre. Doesn't mean he isn't still deadly. Boop. And done. So that will make me the 4th member to give the entire guild 20 more guild event tokens. Doesn't seem like a lot, but the more it's done, the more it adds up. 80 guild event tokens in addition to what we'll get at the end. With a Relic 7 character, you're not going to do a lot. Bottom platoon cannot take any more. So that one could have used... This is Echo? Okay. Echo can be used in either one. Let me check something here, just to play it safe. So Echo is needed in a couple places. That's easy enough. I can do this without Echo. It's pointless for me to do this, but yeah, it's close together. So that means I can save my Echo for platoon deployment and just take in these 2. Should be enough, considering General Skywalker is nigh impossible to take down at times. Go ahead and get that in. Let's do this, and bang! Nice. I love to see it. Yeah, going pretty well. You have a high relic character. It's really not a whole lot of need to send a full squad in. Ooh, no, that's not a Magma Trooper. Let's just do an AoE. Easy enough. That's the basic of territory battle. I'll do a quick recap at the end to summarize my ramblings. But for those of you who are fairly new to territory battle, you're not quite feeling like you or your guild reaching the full potential, there's a lot of approaches to it. This is the approach that we have decided to go with for our territory battle. It doesn't really, like, some of these rewards are nice. Like here, we had 14 members do this mission just because it requires a Hoth Rebel soldier. And maybe, and in Geonosian territory battle, there's a few assignments, and even in Hoth TV, that require Rolo, or Rebel Officer Layer Organa, to be assigned in platoons. So there might be a priority for that. On the flip side, Dark Side will have probe droids. Probe droids are absolutely needed. I think we were shy 4 probe droids in our guild for Geonosian territory battle. So it is helpful to have some focus set for certain rewards. For the most part, if you focus on points, you're gonna be alright. You may see these yellow circles. This is how officers can say what to focus on. So let's say they come in here, and this is something only officers can use. They may select, hey, I want you to focus on this. Hey, don't do anything with this. That may be necessary, especially some guilds utilize a strategy where you leave one zone completely alone. You try to load it as close to 1 star as you can, because if you don't have a single star, you do not move on to the next zone for this path. Or as you see, it starts with 1, splits into 2 paths. If you have a star in each, it goes into the next path. So, and it just goes on. As you reach phase 3, if you reach a star, you move on to the next phase. Blah blah blah, etc. So here we have 1 star, and we're so close to the 2nd star, maybe we don't get any stars. It wouldn't open up this zone for us, but it would give us another chance to pursue this zone and maximize the stars as we can. The points only get higher as the phases go on, so to focus on particular zones is a viable strategy to consolidate your power in order to maximize more stars, as opposed to here, like, I think you can get up to 70 something million. It just gets to the point where it's crazy to even try and get 3 stars on something. That said, if it wasn't already obvious, you have 1 shot to do these missions and to use certain squad members. So if you use a squad member in platoon and in these combat missions, that's it. You don't get to use them anywhere else during that phase. When a new phase starts, then it refreshes your roster and you can use them all over again. Keep that in mind if you're trying to coordinate and be efficient. So the order of priority, focus on the missions that give you points. I like to focus on the ones that have specific teams, particularly, that still give you points. That way you don't accidentally use a member of that team elsewhere. Once you did all the combat missions, then go to your platoons. Something to consider. If I were to go here, I don't think a lot of my guild members have Captain Han Solo, or even Hermit Yoda. A 6-star Hermit Yoda, as it says up here, 6 stars or higher for this phase. Not a lot of my members have a 6-star Hermit Yoda. It may not make sense to have the platoon be maxed out if it's impossible. So coordinate with your guild. We, like I said, use a tool that kind of maximizes and saves us sanity and brain power. And after platoons, then you can look at the optional missions, see what you can do. You saw here, you don't need to be a CLS team, just need to have CLS. In this case, it required CLS to be a leader. And that's okay, we just overpowered it with other odds and ends. And finally, we deploy. May not be a good idea to wait until there's 12 hours or less, because not everyone plays at all times. That's just how I play, being a high GP member. If my guild ordered otherwise, absolutely, deploy away. I mean, you're not going to get these stars if you don't deploy, right? So, different members may have different approach. and your guild may have a different take on what's the best way to approach that. For me, I have 800,000 ships that I can deploy. What do I have for a roster? Yeah, so I have almost 1.2 million. That's 1.2 million that can make a difference. And it very nearly did make a difference here. So it's easy to forget. It's easy to miss deploying or taking certain combat missions, and that happens. So you'll find a strategy that may work best for you and your guild members, but that is a general overview of territory battle. In particular, the light side Hoth territory battle. And if you're curious about your contributions, you can see here. You can also, if there's members who are dropping. This is total territory battle. So we may have members that, like I know one of these members here has connection issues, are not able to get into their account, and they informed us of that. And that's okay. It happens. My guild does not boot members who are experiencing technical issues or have family matters, private. They don't need to give us a reason. They just need to let us know, hey, I'm not going to be available, and we'll work with that. This is a 6-day event. GOTB is also 6 days, but it's 4 phases, and it's 1.5 days per phase. A little confusing, but it makes sense when you see it. That's it. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you found this helpful, and I will see you next time. Take care.